1 year ago, Mahsa Amini was arrested by Iran's morality police for improperly wearing her veil. 3 days later, she would die in police custody. Her death sparked nationwide protests, which roiled authorities in the Islamic Republic. While the clampdown that followed was fierce, Mahsa Amini's death was not in vain, with some changes taking place in the country. With us now is Arshas Alijani from the France 24 Observers team. Arshad has been closely following the protests and has spoken to women inside the country even after the protests dissipated. Arshad, great to see you. 1 year has passed. What has changed within Iran, and should we be talking about the country as before Mahsa Amini and after Mahsa Amini?
Definitely. So if you talk to any Iranian of any background, they all say that Iran is not the same as it was in September 2022. Families, even conservative ones, are giving their daughters more freedom to choose their own lifestyle. Society not only tolerates but even encourages women without hijab, and in some neighborhoods it has become the norm for women to not wear hijab. For example, cafe owners do not require their female customers to wear the hijab, although they risk being closed down by the authorities if they do not. I've been speaking to Iranian women from different backgrounds. And for example, Sita, she's a university student, told me the following. Before the protest, when a woman went out with her hair uncovered, people stared, even other women. Now the most common reaction is smile or some encouraging words. Another Iranian woman that I talked to recently, Varia, an Iranian influencer in Shiraz in central Iran, she told me, verbal harassment of women on the street, which used to be frequent, has decreased. I have not had a bad experience in a year, even though I go out with my hair uncovered every day.
And what has changed between Iranians, women especially, and the regime?
There are now millions of Iranian women who defy the compulsory hijab almost every public spaces, and the security forces are overwhelmed by the number. They can only arrest a small percentage of these rebellious women. They cannot enforce the laws. But to return to your question about whether anything has changed at the level of the regime, I have to say no, at least not in a positive sense. The Sharia law that prescribes the hijab is still in force. And what is worse is that the parliament is considering a new law that will tighten the restrictions even further and make the penalties for not wearing the hijab even harsher. According to this draft, the fines for not wearing hijab jumps from €1 to €3,000 and the maximum prison sentence to 10 years.
But even though they want to toughen the laws, women are still flouting the rules. So are we at an impasse now?
Yes, we are seeing a kind of impasse. Once again, it's more complicated than that. So the answer is not a simple yes or no. The Iranians are fighting a very complicated situation. They have to deal with a very well-equipped regime that is willing to do whatever it risks, whatever it takes to survive. But if you look at the big picture, Iranians, and I have to say women, have been pushing back the regime nonstop from the day one. Actually, look at a picture. The Iranian women athletes who competed the Beijing Asian Olympic Games in 1919, as you see, they were forced to wear black chadors, and now, if you look at another video from today, for example, some days ago. This video is from the streets in Iran days ago. Girls walking in crop tops in the street, and Iranian women do not seem to be pessimistic about the future either. Sita, the university student, told me about this. We have won some battles so far, but the war is not over yet.
And Arshad, are these women ready to die for their freedoms?
They don't want to die. They don't go outside as a suicide mission. But yes, many of them are willing to risk their lives. One of the slogans were woman, life, freedom. They want a normal life, but they are aware of the risk and many of them are willing to risk their lives.